Okay, so you've made it through the offer. Clearly the prospect is still interested, they're still listening, they're still engaged, and now we're at the temp check stage of the sales call. So the temp check is so absolutely critical. If you do not nail the temp check, by the time you get into the next stage of collections, you're gonna be dealing with more than logistical issues around money or limiting beliefs around money. You're not gonna be dealing with other objections, smoke screens, and concerns that are coming from lack of clarity in your process or how you're gonna deliver what you deliver, trust issues around whether it be trust with you or the company, or testimonials, which would come from your storytelling. There's a lot of other obstacles you're gonna deal with in the collections phase. It's gonna cause a lot of friction. So what we wanna do in this temp check stage of the sales call is to nail 3 different things to help that not happen in the collections phase. Number 1 is we need to see, are there any other objections? And we do this through a 1 to 10 scale temp check. And we're gonna get into what that looks like here in the actual role play after this. The second thing that we wanna knock out is urgency, right? How soon are they actually looking to get started? So we need to know, are there any objections, smoke screens, concerns that could come up within a specific amount of time that would stop them from getting started today? And how can we take time off the table and condense that time frame down to today? Okay, so that's gonna be urgency. And number 3 is going to be risk. Can the prospect see that there is no fear in moving forward with this as the best solution for them? And we're gonna do that by showing them that they bucket themselves as a winner. And that is done through telling stories around times that clients or buyers have failed when using your product, and allowing the prospect to be able to not identify as that person that failed, thus making them somebody that would succeed. Okay? So we're gonna allow them to label their identity, and labeling is one of those powerful things that you could do to increase confidence. So these are the 3 things that we are going to do in the temp check: a 1 to 10 scale, an urgency check, and eliminating risk. So let's go through a role play so you can see exactly how this is executed. And after that role play, we'll go over a debrief on not just what I said, which are the verbal cues, but the non-verbal cues, which are gonna be my tone, my cadence, and my body language. All right, let's get started. Before we transition into the role play, if you've already found this video helpful, I actually included the sales script to go along with this video in the description below, as well as other helpful resources that you can visit to help you elevate your sales game. All right, let's get into the role play. All right, man. Well, now at this point, I know it's been like a smooth, like non-salesy conversation, but I do have to ask you like one kind of salesy question. That cool?
Talking to the right guy. Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, perfect. That question is on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being like, why did I hop on this call? And 10 being like, where's this option been my whole life? Like, I just need to get this thing up and running. Where do you feel like you fall on the scale?
I guess it really just gonna come down to price. I mean, I'm going to consider a solid 9. I'm a solid 9. It's just gonna be that price that's gonna get me to a 10.
All right, perfect, man. Easy enough. Anything else get you to a 10 or just the price?
I mean, how good are the leads? How good are the quality of the leads? Is that gonna be on me? Is that gonna be on you?
I love this question. You're a sales guy, so you're gonna know, like, the definition of a quality lead is dependent on the eyes of the beholder. What I can tell you based on what we define as quality is you're gonna tell us what your ideal avatar is. We're going to sift out all the eyeballs that come through this funnel to make sure the people talking to you fit those criteria. And those are the people you're talking to. So if you define that to be a quality lead, that's the lead we're gonna send over.
Okay.
Do you define that to be quality?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And I know some of that's going to be on me too, so that's okay.
Yeah, you closing the deals, talking to people that you define as your best avatar is definitely going to be on you for sure. Sarcasm.
No, I got you. I'm ready to rock. Yeah.
All right, cool. And you said you want to get this done as early as yesterday, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. In that case, really the last thing I want to cover for you then is going to be why this wouldn't work for you. Okay, so we sign up a lot of people. We've seen a lot of things. I'll tell you this, and this is why I asked earlier, if anything is going to be stopping you from being able to make this work 100% like in your life. Because what we've noticed when this didn't work for people is because we had this guy, Jeff, who got started with us, and dude had a killer brand and everything. It's just when he got started, he was so busy that he literally never responded to us. So like we could not get a hold of any of the assets to build anything. We couldn't get a hold of anything to set up the ad account, get the ads started up. We couldn't set up the funnels inside of his, account. So we couldn't get anything done. And then he blamed us 3 weeks later when we hadn't started yet, even though we've been spamming this guy. Is there any possible scenario where you would not be able to respond to us in a timely manner within 24 hours and this would happen to you?
No, working hours, you guys will get me. I'll be locked in. If I'm spending money, I'm committed to the process. So I'm ready to go with that.
Cool. Well, in that case, let's go over the different pricing options and see how we can get you started today. Because that is the last thing we got to cover. So you ready to cover it?
But that's what I've been waiting for.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, let's rock.
All right.
Well, now at this point, I know it's been like a smooth, like non-salesy conversation, but I do have to ask you like one kind of salesy question. Okay, so anytime that I'm getting into, like, I know I'm gonna ask a question that sounds salesy, because obviously this framework's gonna smash for you in whatever you're selling, but there are some things that are maybe not as easy to make not sound salesy. This is one of the things. I need to know what other objections could come up in the call and how much they love what they've gone through so far. So I'm gonna do a temp check. I'm gonna do 2 different types of temp checks. One is gonna be for obstacles, which is gonna be a 1 to 10 scale, and the next is gonna be for urgency. See how soon they wanna get started. So if I'm gonna do this, I'm going to do a softening statement. I'm gonna preface what I'm about to say with some reverse psychology, which is what I'm about to do here, telling them that, can I ask you a salesy question? I'm asking for permission before I do the thing they wouldn't normally want me to do, because they said it was okay to do it. All right, so let's rock.
I guess it really just gonna come down to price. I'm going to consider solid 9. I'm a solid 9. It's just gonna be that price that's gonna get me to a 10.
I go over this in the framework on what it means, depending on the number they say on the scale of 1 to 10, and what to understand about their mindset, depending on whatever group they fall in on that scale. So be sure to look at the framework for those numbers to understand the psychology behind their response. All right, perfect, man. Easy enough. Anything else to get you to a 10 or just the price?
How good are the leads?
Got to close the gap, right? How do we get you to a 10? We got to figure out what it is that's going to get them 100% committed. Yeah, you close the deals talking to people that you define as your best avatar is definitely going to be on you for sure. Sarcasm.
No, I get it.
You'll notice I'll do that too. If I feel tension in the call, there's a few ways to defuse that tension. One way is you could curse like Tony Robbins. He drops the F-bomb. He does that intentionally. You can Google like all that background, the NLP with that. I usually prefer to go the route of humor. Humor can also defuse and reset the energy in the room for you to regain the frame. So you'll notice I use humor in my sales calls quite often for that, because I'm very confident in the sales call. So that's also very important, is to make sure that your delivery is on point. If somebody else did Kevin Hart's routine, which he's a comedian, they probably wouldn't be funny. But Kevin Hart, his delivery is perfect. He's mastered it, he's hilarious. Very important to understand delivery and confidence are very, very important if you choose to do this. Why this wouldn't work for you, okay? So we sign up a lot of people. This is so important too in this temp check phase of the sales call, is to make sure you do some risk mitigation. Show them, this is an NLP tactic referred to as labeling. It's very important to help them label themselves as a winner by segmenting out the not winners or losers, or like however you want to classify that, or AKA label it. And we want them to be able to not classify with that label. So in turn, they now classify as the opposite label, which is winning. So I'm gonna tell a story about when somebody did not see success, AKA they lost, and then I'm gonna let them know, if you resemble this, you'll probably lose too. Do you resemble this? They say no, thus labeling themselves as somebody that will see success with this. See how that works? Let's dive in and watch how we do it. seen a lot of things. I'll tell you this, and this is why I asked earlier, if anything is gonna be stopping you from being able to make this work 100% like in your life, because what we've noticed when this didn't work for people is because we had this guy, Jeff, who got started with us, and dude had a killer brain and everything. It's just when he got started, he was so busy that he literally never responded to us. So like we could not get a hold of any of the assets to build anything. We couldn't get a hold of anything to set up the ad account, get the ads started up. We couldn't set up the funnels inside of his, account. So we couldn't get anything done. And then he blamed us 3 weeks later when we hadn't started yet, even though we've been spamming this guy. Is there any possible scenario where you would not be able to respond to us in a timely manner within 24 hours and this would happen to you?
No, working hours, you guys will get me. I'll be locked in. If I'm spending money, I'm committed to the process, so I'm ready to go with that.
Cool. So that's one of my favorite lines of segue from going from offer to temp check to collections, because we're about to go into the collections phase of the sales call, which we'll debrief that in the next video. But it's very important that you have a really casual segue to asking for money, and a lot of people do struggle to ask for the money. So I put this in here for everyone that maybe struggles with asking for money to be able to say, okay, so the last thing we got to cover is how are you going to pay for it? Ready to have that conversation? They say yes. They're inviting you to ask for money. It's that simple. So that's one of the easiest transitional lines to move into the next stage of the sales call, which is collections. Hey, thanks for watching all the way through. I hope this video was helpful for you. I make these videos to help everyone elevate their sales game, make more commissions, and generate record-breaking sales months of revenue. And just do me a quick favor, just go down, like the video, drop a comment of what your biggest takeaway was, and subscribe to my channel. And if you have a friend that's struggling in sales, you feel like this would help them, share the video. I wanted to drop a few more resources for you in the comments. If you do not already have my sales script on what we went over with this video, go down below in the comments. You can download it completely for free. And I also included a handful of other resources, some free, some paid, but this way you can accelerate your sales game even faster beyond what you are just watching these videos. So anyway, I'm hyped. Hope this helps you close more deals, and I'll see you on the next one.